Okay, so let's just interpret some data off of a Venn diagram. Number 1 says the Venn diagram below shows the number of senior boys who play football or wrestling. So we need to first recognize that this entire circle here is the football players. And this entire circle here represents the senior boys who are on the wrestling team. Finally, this number down here are all of the other senior boys that do not play football or do not wrestle. Okay, so all of these numbers come into play as we're working through these problems on the right-hand side. All right, so A says how many senior boys play football and wrestle. So when we do that, we have to pay attention to the fact that we are dealing with this circle and this circle. So they have to fit in both the football category as well as the wrestling category. So the only place that that occurs is right here in the middle. So there are 18 football players plus another 9 who are football players and wrestlers. And then there are 12 wrestlers plus another 9 who are also football players. So when we look at this diagram, that's how we interpret it. So for A, how many senior boys play football and wrestle, it's just going to be that region right there. So it's going to be 9. On B, it says how many senior boys play football but do not wrestle. So in that case, this whole circle is football players, but we cannot include anything beyond here because those are the wrestlers. So this is the only region that we can use, and so the answer to that would be 18. And I've kind of covered up that 18, so let me get rid of that, all that scribbling, and I'll put the answers back. All right, C says how many senior boys play football or wrestle. So now we're going to take this whole circle, which is 18 plus 9, and then we're going to take this whole circle, which is 12, but we don't want to add that 9 again because we already added it when we took the football circle. So when we add all of those numbers together, we get 39. All right, and then how many senior boys wrestle? So now we're dealing with just the blue circle, everything in blue in that blue circle. So we have the 9 and we have the 12. So the number of senior boys who wrestle is simply just 21. All right, let's look at a more complicated Venn diagram. Now we have 3 different relationships that we're looking at. So we have the sophomores, number of sophomores that have Facebook, that have Twitter, that have Instagram, or a combination of those 3. And then we have 28 students, 28 sophomores down here that don't have any one of those. Okay, so now as we do these problems, we need to, I think it's best to try to shade in the areas that we're talking about. So the first one, how many sophomores just have a Facebook account? So in that case, we're just dealing with this circle, but just have a Facebook account. We have to pay attention to that. And so since that's the case, we can't count in any of these guys because they have a Twitter account, and we can't count in any of these people because they have an Instagram account. So the only students that we can count that just have a Facebook page is 124. All right, let me just erase all of that scribbling. And so we have 124 there. How many sophomores have a Twitter or Instagram account? So now we're looking at the whole Twitter circle. So how many sophomores have a Twitter account, so that's the whole Twitter circle, plus, because it's an or, we're going to use the whole Instagram account. So now when we do that, we're going to add up all of the Twitter people. So we have 37 plus 46 plus 21 plus 16. But we also have to add into that the Instagram people, 55 plus 34. So that's going to give us 209 for that answer when we add all of those numbers up. Okay, so now on C, how many sophomores have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts? So to recognize that, we have to look at all three circles. So let's just color all three circles. So we have Facebook. Oops, that's not a very good circle. We have Twitter and Instagram. Okay, so now we have to find the region that has all three colors because we have an and so they have to have an Instagram, a Facebook, and a Twitter. And so when we look at the diagram, we'll notice that this region here only has a red and a black to identify it. It's only enclosed in a red and a black. This region is just a black and a blue. Well, there's the blue, there's the black, and that's what's enclosing it. This region is a blue and a red. That's what's enclosing it. So the only one that's enclosed in all three colors is this right here in the center. Now, you might say, well, there's a blue line here on this region, but that blue line is facing away from, the curve goes away from the region. The curve has to go towards the region in order to say that it's included. So you'll notice that the curve is encapsulating this 21. This black curve is encapsulating the 21, and the red curve is also. So unlike this 55 here, where this is curved towards, the blue is curved towards, the black is curved towards, but the red is curved away. So this does not have any Twitter in it. This does not have any Facebook in it. This does not have any Instagram in it. The only one that has all three is the one right there in the middle. So the answer to that question is 21. Okay, so how many students do not have a Twitter account? So now we have to look at all of these students have Twitter accounts. So therefore, in order to find out how many do not have, we have to add up all the other numbers. So we have 125, 55, 34, and we can't forget this 28. When we add all those numbers up, we get 241. Okay, in this last question, it says, how many students do not have a Facebook and Instagram account? So we need to first find Facebook and Instagram. So again, we're going to look at our circles. So our Facebook circle is here. Our Instagram circle is here. So we have to find Facebook and Instagram. So the region that has both of those is this region right in here. So we have 55 and 21 that have a Facebook and Instagram, but we want to find out how many do not have those. So that means we just have to add up all the other numbers besides the 55 and 21. So we have 124, 37, 46, 16, 34, and we can't forget about the 28. When we add all those numbers up, we get 285. And that's how you go about reading these Venn diagrams. I think it's very helpful to identify the regions by coloring them or just highlighting them so that you know where to look to find the overlaps or figure out what numbers to use and what numbers not to use and so forth.